Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to be here, and thank you for your invitation. My name, once again, is Henry Kopia Keculah Jr., and I am the CEO of 4.0 GPA and the president of the Liberian Association of Greater Houston. A little bit about 4.0 GPA. We have been around for over close to 4 years now, and we work with some of the largest school districts in the United States. And we have won several awards on a national level for our work in the community and the work and the things we do. Another interesting fact, in 2018, I was named one of the top 16 social entrepreneurs in the United States. So just thank you for just reading the background. Just want to start off with a quote before we go into today's topic. Poet Carl Sandburg stated that time is the most valuable coin in your life. So I just want everyone to sit and let that resonate with you when you think about time, how precious time is. And that's something that we cannot buy back. But the most important thing as a youth growing up, I was that boy that both of my parents came from. Yes? Okay. I was that student that both of my parents came from Liberia. And growing up in the Liberian household with just me and my mom did not go to college in America. She did not understand the system. And why is that story important? Because when I was in high school, when I was in elementary school, middle school, I struggled in school because I did not understand what the blueprint was for success. And it dawned upon me once I understood how to do well in school, my first year of college, I obtained a 4.0 GPA. And after graduating, I realized that there were more students like me. Why? Because when you look in Liberian history, in the early 90s, we had a civil war. And that civil war allowed a lot of refugees and a lot of individuals to migrate to Liberia. Right now, we have over at least 250,000 individuals that are Liberian that now are residing in the United States. And you think about how many of those individuals struggle with the same things I struggle with. How many of those individuals came from households where their mom and dad did not understand how to apply for SAT and apply for ACT exam, or even know what a GPA was. And so that's what goes into my first point today, is understanding the system. It's very important for us today to educate people who are from Liberia that may have first generation students or may have migrated here to understand how they can prepare their kids for success. We may have the mindset, a lot of parents may have the mindset that you have to go to college to be successful, and that's wrong. I just authored a book called What is College? But there is different ways for us to show students and how kids can be successful. The first one is allowing them to do what they love. If you want someone to be successful, they need to follow their passion. And that starts off with maybe becoming a lawyer. That may be a passion they have. Or secondly, becoming a nurse. Or they may have a passion of fixing cars. You can go to a technical school to do that. Or third, they may have a passion of becoming an entrepreneur. We have an entrepreneur, Liberian Richelieu Dennis. He's one of the wealthiest Liberians in the world, and he's an entrepreneur. So that just shows you that there are different roads to success, but we have to do a better job of doing that. And that's something that we have to embed in our community, is how do we create more programs to educate parents, but also the youth, so they can be successful. So that goes into the second point, diversifying your portfolio. How do we get parents to diversify their portfolio? How do we get our community to understand that it's not just college, it's different ways for kids to be successful. We have to utilize summer and free time to educate kids to STEM programs. As you look in Liberia right now, the median age for Liberians is 19 years old. So the majority of Liberians in Liberia are youth. And that's something that we have to do right now, is expose kids to more programs in STEM. And that's very important. So something that we have to understand is that over the summer with COVID-19, how are we providing kids with enrichment programs? This is just a quick quote. Blacks in STEM are about 4 times as likely as whites in STEM to say that the workplace doesn't pay enough attention to increasing racial and ethnic diversity. There's not a lot of representation of African Americans in the STEM field, and that's something that we can do a better job of doing. The third point is embracing their culture. When I grew up in a Liberian household, my parents, my brothers and sisters, when it came from the Civil War, they showed me tapes of the Civil War. They showed me things that happened, and that allowed me to feel like I was a part of the culture. And even when I wrote my first book, as you can look, it talks about a little bit about Liberia. You can't see the background, but it talks a little bit about how does that actually work? Like what happens, you see the Liberian flag and the Nigerian flag and a map of Liberia. Now, why did I put that there? Because I wanted kids, if they're a Black, American, and white, to understand the importance of culture and understand the importance of where they came from. And a lot of people, a lot of us, a lot of kids who are Liberians, they do not understand the culture of July 26th, that Black American slaves came from America, they went to Liberia. They do not understand that when you look at Liberia, you have a history of Firestone. Why did Firestone go to Liberia? They do not understand the heritage and the history of Joseph Jenkins Roberts, he came from Virginia. A lot of people are lost in the culture. And as we started to show and have programs at Texas Southern University, more people felt that they were more comfortable with being associated with Africans. And it's okay to say that I'm African. It's okay to say that I'm Peled. And what does it mean for my last name to be Keculah? Like we have to start to educate our kids. They should not have a name and not understand where their name came from. I took time to research my grandfather. His name is Albert Peabody. I was able to identify that my grandfather, his father graduated from Lincoln University in America. And that's something that blew me away, was that I thought that, oh, it was great for me to graduate from college in America, but here is my great-grandfather that graduated from Lincoln University in America. So we just have to do a better job in our culture of identifying, letting our kids know, okay, this is what fufu soup is. This is what cassava leaf is. These are the 16 tribes. This is our president, George Weah, and this is the great thing that he has done, or these are some great facts about him. We have to do a better job of educating the next generation that comes ahead of us, to allow them to become a part of that history, because once they become attached to the culture, they will want to go back to Liberia and invest in Liberia. Like we have our other panelist, she's doing great work in Liberia, and I applaud you for that. But the more we educate our kids about their culture and their history, they want to become a part of it. And as you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, and you look at George Floyd, he lost his life. But a lot of people do not understand is that there's also a place that embraces them more than America. And the more we do to allow them to feel attached to Liberia, that leads to more investments and allowing people to invest in Liberia. And then there's a proper way of investing in Liberia. Like me, you can be in America and you can create opportunities for those who are in Liberia. Even though my company is here, we still do a lot of work in Liberia. We still create opportunities for people. We still help people raise money. And so you just have to utilize your talents and do that in a positive way. And those are the different ways that we can help improve our country where we are right now. There's still a lot of improvement that's left, but we have to understand that the road starts one day at a time. And while I'm here, if you also want to support the great work that we're doing, feel free to utilize the links in the chat room to purchase one of the books I released. I released 2 books. One is called Just for What is College, and another one is called The Holly Academy STEM. And it's a coloring book for kids to allow them to understand the importance of STEM and what that is. So that just goes into the message today for Liberians all over, is to understand what Liberia is and understand what college is. And that is something that motivated me as a young Liberian to run for president of the Liberian Association was because I felt so passionate about embracing and utilizing my talents to help our community. Within the last year, for the first time, we have received grants. We have been around for 20 years, but for the first time, we have received grants and sponsorships from Amazon, Walmart, other corporations and law firms. And that just happens when we, the younger generation, we're able to step up and help. So it's time for everyone to embrace the younger generation and allow us to participate and be a part of the culture. And it should not be, I'm that person, oh, that boy, you're not from here, or you don't understand me, you're not from here, you don't understand Liberians, or like, you do not want to preach that culture on us, you just want to embrace us regardless if I do not talk the same way you talk, but I may understand how to speak Pele. I may be able to talk Pele and say, Kumaju, how are you doing today? But we just have to understand our culture, and that's very important for everyone to do. Is understand, embrace, and not be prejudiced towards someone else because they may not be born in Liberia. So I just want to say thank you for your time today.